What if society as we know it doesn't exist? What if it's a mere construct of our imagination? A provocative thought, isn't it? But it's not entirely without basis. After all, what is society? Some would say it's a group of individuals living together, sharing common interests and values. Others might argue it's a system of organized complexity, a web of interconnections and interactions, where people collaborate for shared benefits. But these definitions, though accurate in their own ways, merely scratch the surface of the concept. They fail to address the deeper, more philosophical questions about the nature and purpose of society. What binds us together as a collective entity? What function does society serve in our lives? How did we transition from solitary beings to social animals? Enter Jean-Jacques Rousseau, a prominent philosopher from the Enlightenment era, a man unafraid to challenge the status quo. Rousseau was no stranger to controversy. His theories often ignited heated debates. Unlike his contemporaries who viewed society as a necessary and beneficial structure, Rousseau saw it as a corrupting influence, an institution that stifled the innate goodness of man. His ideas were groundbreaking, to say the least. They shook the very foundations of social theory, prompting us to re-evaluate our understanding of society. Rousseau didn't just question the established norms, he sought to redefine them. His philosophy was a radical departure from traditional views, offering a fresh and thought-provoking perspective on societal constructs. Rousseau's philosophies have left a profound impact on our world. His theories have influenced everything from political science to education, from ethics to psychology. His ideas continue to resonate with us today, challenging us to question our societal norms and assumptions. So, let's embark on this intellectual journey. Let's delve into the labyrinth of Rousseau's mind. Let's challenge our preconceived notions about society and explore the revolutionary ideas of this extraordinary philosopher. After all, isn't it time we reassessed our understanding of society, the very structure that shapes our lives? Let's dive into the mind of Rousseau and unravel his unique perspectives on society. Before we delve into his philosophies, let us first understand the man himself. Born in the heart of Geneva in 1712, Jean-Jacques Rousseau was the child of a watchmaker and a mother who passed away shortly after his birth. Rousseau's upbringing was far from conventional. His father instilled in him a love for reading, and together they would often lose themselves in the pages of ancient Greek and Roman histories. This early immersion in literature sparked Rousseau's unquenchable thirst for knowledge and his fascination with the human condition. At the tender age of 16, Rousseau found himself alone in the world, wandering from place to place and working in various capacities. It was during these wanderings that he began to observe and question the society around him. He saw the stark contrast between the affluent and the impoverished, the powerful and the powerless, the educated and the ignorant. These observations, coupled with his personal experiences of hardship, began to shape his philosophies. Rousseau lived in an era marked by significant social and political upheaval. The Enlightenment was in full swing, challenging traditional authority and advocating reason as the primary source of legitimacy and authority. Rousseau, however, was a bit of a rebel even among the rebels. While he agreed with the Enlightenment's emphasis on reason, he also believed that it was leading society away from its natural state and causing more harm than good. He saw a world where the wealthy and powerful were exploiting the poor and vulnerable, and he believed that this was not the natural order of things. He yearned for a society where everyone was equal and free, a society that reflected the simplicity and purity of nature. His experiences and observations, his love for literature, and his unique perspective on the Enlightenment all converged to form the foundation of his philosophical thought. These influences shaped Rousseau's understanding of society, and they laid the groundwork for his revolutionary ideas about social contract and the ideal society. Now that we have a glimpse into Rousseau's background, we can start exploring his philosophies. Imagine a world untouched by the rules and regulations of society. That's where Rousseau's philosophies begin. Picture this: a world with no laws, no government, no societal norms or artificial constructs. This is what Jean-Jacques Rousseau referred to as the state of nature. It's a theoretical condition of existence where human beings live freely and independently, uninhibited by the constraints of civil society. Rousseau's concept of the state of nature is intriguing because it paints a picture of humans in their purest form. Here, individuals are guided by their basic needs and desires, rather than societal expectations or rules. They live in harmony with one another and their environment, driven by their instinctual need for survival and well-being. This primal state is characterized by freedom, innocence, and natural goodness, free from the corruption and artificiality of society. In this raw and untamed state, human beings are not inherently bad or evil. They are not born with a sense of morality or immorality, but rather develop these traits as a result of their experiences within society. It's a stark contrast to the societal norms we are accustomed to, where rules and regulations govern our every action, and societal expectations shape our behaviors and attitudes. This state of nature, as Rousseau envisioned it, is devoid of concepts such as private property, wealth, and power imbalances. These constructs, he believed, lead to inequality, envy, and conflict, tainting the inherent goodness and innocence of humans. However, Rousseau was not naive. He recognized that this state of nature, however idyllic, could not sustain the growing complexities and demands of human life. As humans began to form communities for mutual benefit and protection, the state of nature transformed into a civil society. But this transformation came with a price: the loss of our natural freedoms and innocence. How then did we transition from this state of nature to society? This brings us to Rousseau's social contract theory. We've all heard of the phrase social contract, but what does it really mean in Rousseau's terms? At its essence, Rousseau's social contract is a theoretical agreement between individuals who collectively surrender their natural rights to form a political community or society. This agreement is not a physical document, but rather an understanding that binds the community together. It's like an unwritten rule book that everyone agrees to follow. To put it in Rousseau's own words, man is born free and everywhere he is in chains. What he means is that in the state of nature, we are all free. However, in society, we are bound by the chains of the social contract. But why would we willingly shackle ourselves? Well, according to Rousseau, it's for the greater good. He introduces the concept of general will. This is not just the will of the majority, but the collective will of all people, which aims for the common good. In a society formed by the social contract, individuals agree to be governed by the general will, which in return guarantees their freedom and equality. However, the social contract is not without its pitfalls. Rousseau acknowledges that there could be times when the general will may not align with an individual's personal will. In such cases, the individual must suppress their personal desires for the sake of the collective good. This suppression could potentially lead to a loss of individuality and personal freedom. Moreover, Rousseau's theory assumes that all individuals are rational and capable of identifying and acting in the common good. But what if they are not? What if someone doesn't understand or agree with the general will? These are some of the complexities and challenges posed by Rousseau's social contract. So, we've transitioned from the state of nature to society. But what kind of society did Rousseau envision? Rousseau's ideal society is one that might seem utopian, but it's deeply rooted in his philosophies. In Rousseau's perfect world, the society is one where the government and the people are intertwined in an intimate dance of mutual consent. He envisioned a society where the government is a direct reflection of the will of the people, not an entity separate and above them. This concept, often referred to as popular sovereignty, is one of the bedrocks of modern democracy. Yet Rousseau's ideal society is not just about government being a puppet to the people's string, it is about a delicate balance. The government, while representing the people, also has a responsibility to ensure that the general will is directed toward the common good. It must guide, not dictate, suggest, not impose. Equally important in Rousseau's ideal society is the concept of equality. In his mind, no one should have so much that they could buy another, and no one should have so little that they are forced to sell themselves. This is not a call for absolute equality of outcome, but rather a plea for basic social and economic justice. It's a vision that resonates with many in today's society as we grapple with issues of wealth disparity and social inequality. Freedom, too, plays a critical role in Rousseau's utopia, but his conception of freedom is not just the absence of restraint, it's the ability to follow laws that we impose on ourselves. It's about being part of a community where we acknowledge our interdependence and work together for the common good. Rousseau's vision of an ideal society has had a profound impact on the world. It has helped shape modern democratic principles and continues to inspire movements for social and economic justice. His ideas challenge us to question our own societies and to strive for a world where government truly reflects the will of the people, where equality and freedom are more than just words, but lived realities. Rousseau's philosophies are complex and thought-provoking, but what are the key takeaways from his ideas? Rousseau's philosophies challenge our understanding of society, but what can we learn from them? Let's take a moment to reflect on the key takeaways from our exploration of Jean-Jacques Rousseau's philosophies. First, we delved into the state of nature. Rousseau proposed that humans in their natural state were solitary, peaceful beings. Society, he argued, corrupted this pure nature and introduced inequality and competition. This perspective invites us to question how societal structures shape our behavior and values. Next, we examined the concept of the social contract. Rousseau argued that individuals willingly surrender some of their freedoms to the community, creating a collective body governed by the general will. This idea of the social contract is not just a historical concept. It continues to inform our understanding of governance, law, and the responsibilities we bear as citizens. We then ventured into Rousseau's vision of the ideal society. He envisioned a society where the general will, not the will of a select few, guides decision-making. In such a society, individuals would be free because they would be following laws they themselves have agreed to. This perspective inspires us to consider how we can foster inclusivity and fairness in our own communities. Importantly, Rousseau's philosophies also challenge us to reflect on our own societies. We can ask ourselves, are our societies truly representative of the general will? Are our laws and structures fostering equality or perpetuating inequality? And how can we, as individuals and communities, strive towards Rousseau's vision of an ideal society? In essence, Rousseau's philosophies invite us to question, to reflect, and to strive for a society that is fair, inclusive, and representative of the general will. His ideas continue to resonate in our modern world, influencing our understanding of society, governance, and individual freedoms. Rousseau's philosophies continue to influence our understanding of society. As we navigate our own social contracts, let's keep his ideas in mind. As we move forward, let's remember to question, to reflect, and to strive for a society that truly embodies the will of the people. Rousseau's philosophies may not provide all the answers, but they certainly provoke interesting questions. Indeed, through the exploration of his thoughts, we're invited to challenge the status quo, to question the societal norms and structures that are often taken for granted. This isn't just an intellectual exercise, but a call to action that resonates deeply with our lived experiences. Rousseau urges us to examine the roots of inequality, the nature of freedom, and the essence of humanity itself. He prompts us to reflect on the true meaning of society and our place within it. It's this spirit of inquiry, this willingness to question and to learn, that is perhaps the most valuable takeaway from his philosophies. So, let's carry this curiosity forward. Let's delve deeper into Rousseau's philosophies, and indeed, the philosophies of others that challenge us to think, to question, to grow. Remember, society is what we make it, so let's make it something worth living in.